Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Messages from Ori, where I channel clear and accurate guidance and messages from the collective consciousness. Okay, it's your girl, day-oyabunmi. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I want to talk about the shadow and healing our shadow side. But first, if you're interested in a personal tarot reading on this topic or any other topic, an Ifa reading, Heterisha reading, Ifa-Orisa related ebooks, online trainings, or my Patreon, check out my website, daydreamalston.com. So as many of you know, the shadow is referred to as the unbecoming parts of ourselves which are socially unacceptable and which sometimes we try to hide, right? So the shadow could be, my bad temper. Someone's shadow could be the fact that they're a gossip. Someone's shadow could be the fact that they're emotionally manipulative. Someone's shadow could be that they're thieves. They enjoy theft, although they know it's wrong. So today we'll look at how our shadows manifest, right? What they look like when they arise in our lives, and how we can heal our shadows. But I just want to share with you really quickly, you want to be careful of, not acknowledging the shadow and just trying to ignore it. Instead, see the shadow as just a part of yourself. Accept it, even if it's just not the best, attribute or characteristic. It's accepting it, bringing it into your awareness, right? Being very mindful of your behavior so that when it goes to show its head, you can just kind of check it, keep it in check. But you don't want to ignore it and kind of just try to stuff it down. You have to acknowledge it, accept it. And some of you can actually find ways to use it for your benefit. So if you have a very bad temper, all that is passion. That means you have a lot of passion. You have a lot of the fire energy. You can use that and use that as perseverance to get through, hard situations. You could use that same passion to fuel you and to help you build a business you've been wanting to build, right? So you can use that passion. You can use it to fuel you, to help you for your benefit, as opposed to it being detrimental to you. It takes a lot of practice, but it's absolutely doable. So let's look. This is the Miss Cleo's Tarot Power Deck. Let's look at how our shadows manifest. Oh, okay. For some of us, the way that our shadows manifest is through excessive emotion. Some of you may have like these really strong instances of heavy emotion that stops you from proceeding. So say something happens during the day that's upsetting to you. Someone else may be able to get past that and get through it pretty quickly, but you might be so overcome and overwhelmed by your emotions that you cannot even get through the day. Now your whole day is ruined, right? You may be crying profusely, very, just very emotional in general, but there's just something about excessive emotion, and that's how your shadow manifests, right? So there's a need to find a way to mitigate the emotion, and we'll talk about that and how we heal it. For others of you, there's emotional immaturity when it comes to how your shadows manifest. So you might be passive aggressive, you might be really petty, you may be the type that wants to get revenge, that's emotionally manipulative, things like that. So you have to be careful. Emotions comes up here a great deal when it comes to our shadow. So for a lot of us, the shadow side is just our emotions kind of being out of whack and not dealing with things in an emotionally mature way. For some of you, your shadow is a tendency to run away. And I say that because of the Eight of Cups here. In this card, the person is kind of sitting in like a meditative state. But in the traditional tarot, with the Eight of Cups, you see someone just kind of walking off, right? Leaving things behind. So for some of you, what I'm seeing with your shadow is that you have a tendency to run away from things. Sometimes you leave things behind that you've established and put a lot of work into, and it's like you really should have stayed and worked with it more and built it up more. And you'll know, because you'll know if this is you, because you'll feel a sense of regret, like, yeah, I should have held on to that and worked through it. For some of you, your shadow side is you have uncontrollable passion, right? You have these very young, passionate urges, and you don't handle them in a mature way. So what I mean by young, passionate urges is, when a kid wants to do something, they get the urge to do something, typically they're going to do it, right? And their parents have to say, no, don't do that. Some of you as adults still have that issue where you're impulsive, you're going too fast, moving too fast. You get you get some type of inclination to do something based on a passionate feeling, and you go for it without thinking about it. So that's how your shadow manifests. For some of you, your shadow manifests by you feeling by like this lack of hope in life. You have a hard time, and I say that with the Wheel of Fortune. You have a really hard time believing that life is good. So there's kind of like this sense of hopelessness, this lack of faith, feeling like life is just, like life is just not good, like there's a fear in you that bad things are going to happen, and that's how your shadow manifests. So say things are going good for you in your life, represented here by the Wheel of Fortune. You'll automatically assume that something bad is coming, right? And that's your shadow, and that's how your shadow manifests. That's how shadows manifest. For some of you, your shadow manifests in that you're always looking for the next best thing. You never just get comfortable where you are. You never feel grounded in the places that you are. You're always looking for something else, something better. How else do our shadows manifest? For some of you, your shadows manifest in being too controlling. You want to control everything. You want to control others around you. You want to control every situation. You want this sense of control because it makes you feel safe, but you have to acknowledge that that's not real life. Real life, in real life, things are messy. You can't control everything. So for some of you, that's the way your shadow manifests, as being too controlling. A couple of more cards, then we'll move on to how we can heal our shadows. For some of you, the way your shadow manifests is that you want to overpower other people. Like that's the thing that makes you feel good, kind of towering over other people, being in charge of them, being the boss, being the leader, but in a way that's not healthy, where you're being too controlling. You're not giving people their, fair say. You're not hearing them out. That's the way the shadow manifests for some of you, as just like this overpowering, over-controlling, control freak type of energy. Wanting total authority over people. This again can show emotional manipulation. Some of you may be bullies. So really check yourself, because you might bully people when you get angry, or when you're hurt, you turn into a bully, something like that. But that could be how your shadow's manifesting. Some of you, your shadow is you party too much. You are doing too much in terms of entertainment, in terms of going out, doing things for fun, but not balancing that. And I say that with the Four of Staffs. There's like too much of a focus on celebration. And that's your shadow's way of kind of covering up the fact that there's voids in other areas of your life. So you try to stay busy by having fun, by doing, by celebrating. One more card for how the shadow manifests. For some of you, the shadow manifests through you just feeling really down on life and tired. Like, for some of you, I could see some of you wanting to sleep a lot, because you feel like you can't handle life or you don't want to deal with life. There's this, you want to run away, you want to get away, kind of like a mental break. But the way you take the mental break is not healthy. It's like, again, I'm seeing kind of like an energy of avoidance. That's how your shadow manifests. You're avoiding things. You might feel overwhelmed. And so instead of dealing with things directly, you just want to get away. You want to go to sleep, take a nap. You just want to be away from these things. Now, any other messages? Okay, so let's see how we can heal our shadows. So spiritual enlightenment is very important, but not just spiritual enlightenment. Building up your self-confidence, right? Like having confidence in yourself and your abilities and your ability to heal and grow, and also having confidence in the divine, in the spiritual realms. You see, you have this golden figure which represents the divine in this child. Be open like a child to the divine, to enlightenment. I know we don't all believe this, but we truly do receive messages all the time. So be open to the messages that the divine has for you, because that's going to help you heal your shadow. Some of you need to, do more spiritual practices, whatever that means for you. Prayer, ancestor work, meditation, altar work, spiritual baths. Create some type of ritual that you found to be helpful for you and for your growth. That's going to help you to heal the shadow. For some of you, this could be therapy and journaling, like really getting all of that stuff out that has been a blockage to you. For some of you, the way for you to heal your shadow is through checking this impatience that you have. Some of you are impatient and you want things to go faster, and it triggers your shadow. So in order to heal the shadow, you want to be patient. Know that this is lifetime work, right? If it's taking you 30 or 40 years to develop these shadow behaviors, then it could take a while to work through them. But as long as you're acknowledging them, accepting them, and doing your work, right, towards enlightenment, you're on the right path. How can we heal our shadows? Negative aspects of our shadow. Again, acceptance. Remember, I started the reading talking about the need to accept the shadow, right? So in this card, say for instance, this is you, and then this is the shadow. And the woman, may have created this entity by pushing the shadow away. This is where you want to really accept and embrace the shadow, see it clearly, right? And then that will help you get an idea of how to overcome it or how to use it for your benefit. How else do we heal our shadow? Interestingly enough, for some of you, the way to heal your shadow is by sitting with yourself, by getting more downtime, especially for those of you whose shadow aspects have you running a lot, right? Running away from stuff, impulsive action, acting too quickly. Those of you who are always celebrating, always partying to kind of cover things up. There's a need to kind of let that dissipate and check in with self. How do we heal our shadow? A couple more cards before we do the message deck. How do we heal our shadow? Through joy. Some of you, and this is not joy to cover up the void, right? Or to cover up how we're really feeling, but going towards those things which bring us great joy, emotional fulfillment and balance. Like, what makes you happy? If you're someone who loves to dance, then dancing on a regular basis, right? That helps to heal your shadow. If you haven't been spending enough time with your friends and family, then get together with them. That's going to heal the shadow, right? So doing things that bring you joy. One more card for how we heal the shadow from this deck. Ooh, we have the soulmate card. So connection for some of you is going to be important in healing your shadow. But connecting with the right people, with people of, let's see, you want to avoid any type of shallow connections. When we're talking about soulmate, we're talking about soul family. So connecting with your soul family is actually going to help you heal your shadow, because relationships do that, right? If you're in healthy relationships and you have these bonds, it really can just help deter you from behaving in ways that are behaving in ways that are in alignment with your shadow, right? So you're avoiding those shadow behaviors through these bonds and relationships. So some other ways we can heal our shadow with my message card deck here. It says drama, just say no and choose peace. So some of you, because of your temper or your passion, when the drama comes, you're with it. You're with the shits, like you're ready to go. But your spirit is saying in order to heal this, you need to just say no. Just say no. Get a couple more cards before we close. How we can heal our shadows. Some of you with the tears card here, you just need to release and don't hold back. You need to release those years of trauma and all of the things that have happened to you that have contributed to the building up of this shadow being, the building up of these shadow characteristics. So tears, release your tears, release the pain. Find a safe, comfortable space where you can just release these things. Some of you just need some therapy. Go cry, write in your journal how you feel about the things that have happened to you. Write it until it doesn't have the same physical effect, until it doesn't even feel like anything but, a memory anymore. We have 2 here. For some of you, spirituality and seeking answers through spirituality is going to be your healing, going to bring your healing where your shadow is concerned. And for some of you, you got the card receive. It says, allow support, kindness, and encouragement and gifts to flow to you. Don't block your blessings. So I think receive also is in line with the connections I was talking about, the soulmate, really spending time with people. When people want to help you, and this is especially for the control freaks out there, when people want to help you, allow them to help you. When people want to give to you and be of service to you, allow that, because that helps to heal your shadow. If you're interested in a reading on this topic, please feel free to book either a pre-recorded or live reading on my site. And in the topic section, just put healing my shadow. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye.